everybody, I'm back with another part to the Grinch ornament tutorial. In my last video I showed you how I made this SVG that you could use in either Silhouette or Cricut software. So I am ready to start producing some ornaments. Just going to run through how I go about cutting out my face for my ornament, and then I will follow up with actually making the ornament. So I've opened the file that has my Grinch face in it. I'm working on a plastic 4-inch ornament. So if you click on your face there, you can see that I've got this at 3.774 inches wide, and it's 3.555 inches tall. I think that'll be a good size to fit on my 4-inch disc ornament. So I'm going to just duplicate these until I fill up that whole page. I've got a piece of 12 by 12 651 vinyl loaded on my mat, and I'm going to just try to fill that up and see how many ornaments we can get. So to duplicate that, you're just gonna hit Control D, and I'm gonna do it 6 or 7 times. Then I'm just gonna separate them out just to see how many I can fit on this page. You want to get them as close together as you can, and I may have duplicated too many. I was thinking I could get probably 9, possibly 12, but it'll be close. You got to give yourself enough room. You don't want to cut the edge off of anything. So I think that's probably going to be it. I can duplicate, hit Control D, and do one more. Scooch this one over some. You want to be mindful of your cut area, which I think I'm pretty well in. I don't have anything touching. I've got room in between each other. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to click Send. And I have my black vinyl in, so I'm going to, well, actually I do not have my machine connected to my laptop yet, so it's showing me that I don't have a big enough mat. How you can see right here where part of this is darker and part of it's lighter. It doesn't know what kind of mat that I'm going to be using yet. So let me just get everything turned on. But as I was saying, I've got the black in right now. So there it just recognized that I'm going to be cutting on my 12 by 12 cameo mat. So I'm going to uncheck my yellow. I'm going to check my black. As you can see, now I have a darker black line around all of the black parts. I am cutting vinyl, and it's glossy vinyl. I always cut by the fill color. You don't have to do that. That's just the way I always do it. It seems to come out a lot better for me. I'm going to go up here and click on Send. My Cameo 3 is showing ready. Down here at the bottom, this is saying, and I've got an auto blade in. This is saying it needs to be set on 1 with a speed of 5, a thickness of 10. I don't normally do that. Normally I've got my blade set on a 2 with a speed of 5 and a thickness of about 7. So I'm going to do a test cut. I'm going to go ahead and load my mat and do a test cut. You always want to make sure you do a test cut, because you sure don't want to put a whole piece of vinyl in there and it not cut right. It either doesn't cut all the way through, or it does cut all the way through. So you always want to do a test cut. So let's go ahead and do that test cut. And we'll go ahead and unload that. I'll check and make sure that it cut. Perfect. So we are good to go with the cutting. So I'm going to load my mat back in. I'm actually going to swap now and get my camera out and add to this video tutorial using that. Let me get everything situated and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. As you can see, there are my Grinch faces on my laptop. And so I'm just going to print all of those, or cut all of those over here on my Cameo 3. Okay, so I've got everything set up. It's just going to cut the black right now. Did my test cut. So now I'm just going to do start, and we're going to cut our Grinch faces. I'm not going to have you watch it cut all of these out. Just wanted to let you watch it for just a minute. I'm going to cut the black parts of these out, and then I'm going to swap over and get the yellow of the eyes cut out, and I'll be back to show you that process. Okay, we've got all the black cut out. Now we're going to swap over and cut the yellow out. So we are going to go back to design. So now we're back at design. Actually, we're going to go back to send now. We're going to go back to action. We're going to uncheck the black. We're going to check the yellow. So now you can see that the yellow of the eyes all has a brighter yellow outline. That means that it's only going to cut the yellow. Now with this yellow on my vinyl, I'm going to attempt to use some scraps that I have. So I have 3 strips that are leftovers from another project. I have 3 strips of yellow. So what I'm going to do is place the strips on my mat just where the eyes are. So I'm not going to move this around to, try to cut only the eyes. I'm going to leave this laid out just the way it is. And I'm going to lay my strips of yellow on the part where the eyes are going to need to be cut out. Could be a little bit tricky because they're not lined up exactly right. This one right here is a little bit above the 1-inch mark. This is right on it. That's a little bit below. But I think with my strips being there probably about 1.5 inches wide a piece, I think I can get it close enough to where I can fit all of the eyes, and I'm just going to be cutting the eyes out on those strips. So let me get my vinyl placed on my mat and situated, and I will come back on my camera and show you what I've done with that. Okay, as you can see, we are at the part where we're going to cut the yellow, and so I've got that selected where it's only going to cut the yellow right there. You can see that the yellow of the eyes are highlighted. It's still showing my 12 by 12 mat, but I'm only going to cut the eyes this time. I'm trying to utilize some scrap pieces. So if we look over here, there's my mat, and I have just kind of placed my vinyl. Let me try to zoom in where you can see. Oh, it's hard to see that other thing behind there. Let's see. So you can kind of see where I have just placed my vinyl, where when I look at the screen, that's where the yellow of the eyes are. So that's just another way to utilize some scrap vinyl. Don't throw anything away. You can find uses for just about everything. And so I'm going to run this through, and hopefully I've figured out where I need that vinyl and got it in the right place, and I'll come back when I get the eyes cut out. Okay, I've got my mat loaded with my yellow, and we are going to cut the eyes out now. This hope that I've got the vinyl lined up in the right places. If not, we'll just be short a Grinch eye or two. That one right there seemed like it was very close to the edge. So we may not have as many sets of Grinch eyes as we have Grinch faces, but we'll see here shortly. Okay, well, I don't know if you can see it or not, but I did make a boo-boo, and so I missed one set of eyes. If you can see it right there, it went off just barely. Well, it went off the yellow just barely, but all of the other ones, if you can see that, all of the other ones are right where they're supposed to be. So I'm going to change camera angles and get situated over there on the desktop so that I can show you weeding the vinyl, glittering the ornament, and putting the face on the final ornament. Stay tuned. Okay, I had all of my Grinch faces on a 12 by 12 sheet. I've decided to go ahead and cut those apart so that I don't have any little accidents getting the vinyl stuck to the other pieces that need to stay on the backer. So I'm just going to cut these apart. It's just going to make it easier to weed. I've got 9 total ornaments, so I've got 3 sets of 3. As you can see, I'd already started trying to weed this one, and it just did not look like it was going to go well. I'm going to go ahead and try to weed these two together. Maybe I can do that without making a mess. But I'm going to separate the other ones. I just don't want to have any issues. Okay, and again, using my trusty pen to just weed this vinyl. And these old eyes are not as good as they used to be. Looks like that piece right there needs to come out, but I can't see it. Oh, there we go. That piece may or may not come out of each and every one of them. But this really is the, is the part that I wanted to show. I had a couple people ask me, how did I get the yellow to line up just right in the eyes? So there we've got 2 Grinch faces weeded, and here I have some sets of eyes. So I'm going to cut these apart because we sure don't want to get these stuck together either. And you probably can't see this as good on the video, but I could tell exactly where the eyes were. So I wasn't just being all willy-nilly cutting that. And then we'll weed these out. Whoops. Took the center out right there. No problem. Just lay it back down, press it down, and it'll stay right where it's supposed to stay. Let's just do one more set since I've got 2 faces weeded out. That first eyeball's one piece, but then this one over here is not, and that's why it has to leave that center. But that one worked out perfectly. Alright, I'm going to pause you and get some transfer tape, and I'm going to show you just how easy this is to do. Okay, so today we are going to be, I'm going to be showing you again, trying to do a better job of making the Grinch glitter ornaments. So today I've got a plastic 4-inch ornament that I got from Walmart today for 98 cents. It says 100 millimeter crafty. When I laid it down on my mat here, it looked like it was really close to 4 inches, so I'm calling it 4 inches. So I'm going to use that. I've got my Pledge Revive It floor gloss, which is what I'm going to use to stick the glitter to the inside of the ornament. I've got my extra fine glitter in lime, I got that at Hobby Lobby. I have my Grinch face, the yellow for the eyes. I've got a cup here for the Revive It. I'm going to use this roll of tape to kind of stabilize my ornament while I'm putting the face on it. And I think that's all I need right now. So let's get started. You're going to remove the top from your ornament and just set it aside. Now when you're putting your, whatever you're using, you can use this Pledge Revive It. You can use, I've heard people use Future. I haven't seen that in my Walmart. But whatever you're going to use. Some people use polyacrylic. I feel like polyacrylic is a little bit expensive to be using on the inside of an ornament. This is really tacky, so I feel like it's going to work fine for this. You just need to make sure that when you're putting it inside the ornament that you don't get any air bubbles. And if you do, you want to try to do everything you can to get them to come out as you're draining your ornament. So I'm just going to squirt some of this in here nice and slow. I'm going to do a tablespoon or probably 2. And then what you're going to do is just roll your ornament around so that you can see that it's coating the whole inside of your ornament. And so just moving it a little bit more towards the opening each time you turn it around. You can see when it's where it's coating or if it's missed someplace. Whoops. You want to have your cup under there. I got a little bit excited and didn't put my cup under there, and I tilted it too close to the ornament or to the opening. So I'm turning around as I'm pouring out. I don't see any bubbles in there. So we're going to just let this drain for just a few minutes. I'm actually going to just sit that right there for just a second. I'm going to take some of this tape and try to make me something to kind of balance that ornament so that that pledge can run out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and tape this across the cup. Going to tape this across this side. Stick the opening through there. Well, it worked with the other ones, but the other ones didn't have quite as big of a opening on the mouth of it. So if I tape that down to the cup, it would probably stay, but it's not going to stay. So I'm just going to hold it here for just a few minutes and let it drain, and I'll be back. Okay, so we're back. We've let the ornament drain, so all of the Pledge Revive It has drained out. So now we're going to just put some glitter down in there, and as you can see, I do have still some bubbles in there. I'm gonna hold that right here for just a minute, see if we can get those to drain down. We don't want to have those bubbles in there. Okay, so now they're pretty much gone, and that's just not gonna work. Alright, so I'm gonna lay my ornament there. Now we're gonna pour the glitter in. Need to get me another cup for my glitter. Alright, so I'm just going to pour my glitter in the cup. This has got a very large hole in it, so it's a whole lot easier to do than the other ones that I did. You're going to just pour your glitter in there. I'm going to say a tablespoon or more. And this is a pretty large ornament. We may need more. But what you're going to do now is just rotate, just like you did when you were trying to cover it with the pledge. You're going to just rotate it. You want to take your time. You want it to adhere to it pretty good. And as you can see, and you're just going to rotate it just a little bit closer towards the edge each time. And then as you get to the edge, you want to have your cup under there because you want to be pouring the glitter out as you're going around the neck of this. Okay, so we're there. My thumb may not be quite big enough for this one. Tell you what, I guess we'll use... I'm trying to make sure that I get the whole edge of this, which doesn't really matter because it's going to be covered with the silver thing. So I guess we'll just keep going around. Looks to me like I've got a spot right there that may not get covered, but it might as I do this. So we're just going to keep going around, trying to get everything covered. Once you feel like you've got everything covered, you're going to just dump the rest of the glitter back into the cup there. And you want to make sure you turn it because your glitter will be hiding on the sides here. Okay, so you want to try to get as much of that excess glitter out as you can. Alright, so right there you've got a pretty well covered ornament. I don't see any places that you can see through or anything. I do notice that just filling this ornament, it feels like there's a little dip right there, and that's just the way the ornament was made, I guess. This side is perfectly smooth and round, so you might want to consider that when you're figuring out which side to put your Grinch face on. So I'm going to make this be the back of my ornament. Okay, so we're going to put the top back in, and I always struggle with these, but if you'll push those together and pull it up like that, it's got a little indent on the inside there on the little wires that will hold it like that. I think putting it on like that is going to help to not scrape off the glitter that's on the inside of the ornament. So I'm going to put it back on there and then just push that down in there, and you can hear that it clicked into place. Okay? Now to put the face on the Grinch. Okay, so I've got the eyes cut out, I've got the face cut out. I'm going to put the eyes on the transfer tape first, and then I'm going to use that piece of transfer tape to put on the black part of the Grinch, and that's how I get the eyes to be cut perfectly to fit inside there. So I'm going to go ahead and just stick the eyes down to this, burnish it down really good, and then lift those off of the backing. Just like that. Now I'm going to move my Grinch face over here, and I'm going to try to be careful and not stick that yellow down until I get it right where I want it. And so it's just a matter of just lining it up on both sides. You just want to look at both sides at the same time, and when you feel like you've got it lined up, you can just lay it down. Okay, then you're just going to burnish it. Doesn't really matter if you get some air bubbles in between. Just try to make sure that on your design everything is smooth. Then you're just going to lift that right off. If you haven't burnished it enough and it doesn't want to come off, just press it down. There you go, it peels right off. Alright, so I'm just using my roll of tape to hold my ornament so that I can see what's going on and I'm not having to chase my ornament all over the table. It will hold it really good. Okay, so I'm going to take my Grinch base, I'm going to fold him in half, and I'm just going to pinch the transfer tape just so I can see where center is. Okay, so now you can see I've got a crease in my transfer tape. What I'm going to do is try to line up the center of the neck here with the nose, and this little thing down here is pretty close to center. You want to make sure you leave room for those eyebrows because those eyebrows stick up pretty good. So I'm going to try to put the nose is going to be just a tad bit above the center of the ornament. And when I feel like I've got my crease in my transfer tape about center, I'm going to press the nose down. I'm holding everything else up off the ornament because even though it's a disc, it's still round and it can still cause issues. So I'm holding the nose, and then I'm just going to work my way out from the center, just pressing the vinyl down. It doesn't matter if you get a wrinkle in your transfer tape, but you want your vinyl to not have any wrinkles when you put it on. Okay, so you want to press that down good. Now here's what I've discovered. This works a whole lot better if once you get the nose and the eyes and his eyebrows down, if you come in here and make a cut in between the eyes and the mouth on both sides, it makes it easier to get the mouth down without it having wrinkles. Okay, so I've pretty much just cut the transfer tape. Like I said, it doesn't matter if the transfer tape gets bubbles, but you don't want bubbles in your vinyl. So I'm holding the mouth up, but now I'm going to go straight down from the nose, and I'm going to press that down. And then I'm just going to press down the rest of the mouth. And do you see what happens? It does make a big dent in the vinyl, but we want that mouth to go down straight. Now look, it's the end of that is going to end up going over the top of that tape. So we're not going to press that down yet. And we're going to go over here and we're going to press this side down, and the same thing's happening over here. It's going to end up going over the tape below it. So I'm going to come back to this side. I'm going to pull my transfer tape off that side because we've already got the eyes and everything stuck down, and then I'm just going to stick this down. Okay, going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to just come over here. That's all stuck down already. We're just going to pull this transfer tape back. Whoops. And if that happens, just push it down. And honestly, I should have wiped this off with alcohol before I did this, just to make sure that it's got a good clean surface. Gonna just push that down, and now you're ready to just take all the transfer tape off. Okay, so you're just gonna lift all the transfer tape off. Oops, his nose is wanting to come off. And again, that's totally my fault. I should have cleaned this with alcohol before putting that transfer down. Alright, so there you have it. Okay, there's my Grinch ornament. There's how you go about getting the yellow in the eyes,
doing the glitter on the inside and placing the face on there. Thank you for watching my video. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Please give me a thumbs up if you like this video. And please come back and watch some more videos. I'll be putting videos up of just all kinds of different crafts and things that I enjoy doing. So come back. Thank you for watching, and please share if you like this video. Have a great day.